So in this video, I'm going to be giving my ranking of all 5 films in the Daniel Craig era of James Bond films. This era of Bond films started in 2006 and has gone all the way up to the recently released 2021's No Time to Die. So instead of just giving a boring old review of No Time to Die, I figured I'd just give a ranking of all 5 films because I watched them in preparation for No Time to Die or the previous 4. So sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy. Quantum of Solace, the second in the series from 2008. This is easily the worst out of the Craig era of Bond films, and to me it's not even close. Very little thought feels like it went into this film when it came to making a great or even good Bond villain. The Bond girl was boring, the plot was unengaging, it was noticeably short compared to the other films. The film was sort of like a random sort of action showcase, with one action scene after one action scene after one action scene, but with no good plot to make them really sort of engaging. Really, had the film not had Craig's Bond or Dench's M, it would have been pretty unwatchable. As it is, it just stands as easily the worst out of the Craig era of Bond films. Spectre, the 4th in the series from 2015. Though only one spot above Quantum of Solace on this list, I feel this is a much better film than Quantum of Solace, and actually an overlooked film in the Craig era of Bond films. It was a solid continuation of the great stuff that the previous film brought to the table, though not quite on that same level. The distinguishing feature that this film has is that it is notably more lighthearted in nature than the previous 3, which were definitely more brooding in nature. Waltz's Bond villain I thought was pretty good, though I wish there was more work done for him so they could be more memorable and impactful. The romance in the film between Bond and Madeline didn't quite work in this one for me. It felt a little kind of forced and was just kind of like there. But stuff like the opening helicopter fight were amazing. The fights that Bond had with Batista were really good. It was stuff like that that made it a pretty fun Bond film, but not quite a great one. Casino Royale, the first in the series from 2006. This film established the tone, filmmaking style, and of course the type of James Bond we would get throughout this new era of films, where Daniel Craig proved that he was the right one to play this new era James Bond. And through this film we would see how his relationship with Vesper Lynd would affect him throughout the rest of the series. In comparison though to the other films, the movie may or may not suffer by the fact that the action is not as big or explosive as some of the other stuff we would see in the next few films, and the film does slow down a little bit during the whole poker stuff. But regardless, the film had great style and set up great stuff for what was to come through the rest of the series. Skyfall, the 3rd in the series from 2012. Skyfall was a masterclass in terms of the kind of filmmaking that goes into making action flicks like this. The direction, cinematography, and of course the action were all top notch. Probably the biggest improvement in my opinion that it made compared to its predecessors is that while it still had Bond and M who were great, there was a much better supporting cast of characters to really elevate things, with Moneypenny, Q, the future M, and Silva, the Bond villain, who Javier Bardem just gave a really great entertaining performance as him. And of course, that Skyfall song by Adele in the opening. It's just amazing to listen to and definitely the best opening song during the Craig era of Bond films. No Time to Die, the 5th in the series from 2021. No Time to Die is the kind of epic that the series earned the right to do after years of Craig's Bond that we saw. Right from the start, we see this is going to be a very different kind of story for Bond, and one that's going to leave a real sort of emotional impact on him and the audience. Thankfully, the film plays out that way, while still delivering on the stuff people came to appreciate from the previous films. Like Skyfall, the supporting characters introduced in this film really do elevate the film. Bond and the new 007 have a fun, interesting dynamic. The Bond girl has some fun and interesting quirks that were really kind of entertaining to watch. It was something different that we had never really seen in any of these Craig Bond films before. And Rami Malek's Bond villain was great, and he only got better as the film kept going along. Speaking of going along, the film is a long movie. 2 hours and 40 minutes is quite a lot to sit down for a movie, especially for me these days. I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel the length at points during this film. But I will say that the film's weight the emotional stakes. You really did feel it at the end and helped the film sort of earn its length and helped you feel satisfied while you were watching it. I didn't really care all that much for Bond and Madeline's romance. In Spectre, I felt like it was kind of forced, but here, the writing on it was so much better to where it really did work for me in this one. With all the film that had going for it, that's why it earns my spot as the #1 film of the Craig era of Bond films, just because by the end I was like, wow, that really was something. I really did appreciate what this movie brought to the table. Oh, and yeah, that tribute to Sean Connery's James Bond, that was a really nice touch. So there you have it with my ranking of all 5 films in the Daniel Craig era of James Bond. To sum things up, at number 5 I have Quantum of Solace, 4 Spectre, 3 Casino Royale, 2 Skyfall, and number 1 No Time to Die. Following No Time to Die, it'll be interesting to see what the future holds for the next phase of the series, but regardless, for the most part, with the exception of obviously Quantum of Solace, I really enjoyed what this series brought to the table, and it'll be interesting and hopefully fun to see what comes next. So that'll do it for my rankings in this video. If you made it to the end, thank you for watching.